I'll be reviewing the CZ75BD. This is the first handgun I've purchased on my own, and let's just make sure it's unloaded. And it is. I got this because I really like the look of it, and also I have never heard a single bad thing about it except perhaps the trigger, which I personally don't think is bad. The double action pull is a little bit gritty, and the Omega trigger is a little bit better, but it's not really enough to criticize the gun, especially from the half-cocked position, which is what the decocker takes it to. There's a little bit more slack, so it's not as long or hard of a pull. The only thing that I really have to complain about on this gun is the finish. I think it looks really nice. However, it's not really the most durable. I dropped the gun once on a tile floor, and it was in a nylon holster as well, and it chipped a little part right there and a little bit right there. Other than that, it seems to shoot fairly accurately. I've only fired 50 rounds through it at 7 yards, so I definitely need to put some more range time into this before I say anything definite about that. But so far I really like it. It's all steel, so it's a bit heavy. It's about 2.2 pounds, which is I think 35.4 ounces unloaded. So it's around the weight of a 1911, and it's also about as thin as a 1911 also. And which is pretty impressive because it has a 16 round magazine, so 16 plus 1. You can pack 17 rounds in this gun right out of the box. You don't have to add a base plate or anything. The weight does reduce the recoil because, I mean, this gun recoils very little. It is a 9mm, so that on top of the weight does reduce the recoil, and the sights are pretty tight on it. Actually, they kind of remind me of the sights on a Springfield Operator 1911. Not quite as tight as that, and they're not as tall, but there's not much air in them. There's not a gap really, so they're pretty precise. One thing that I had heard was that the ejection port, or the breech, is a little bit small, which can make it hard to clear jams, but I did not have any jams. This is a brand new gun. I've only fired 50 rounds through it, but I didn't have a single malfunction, so apparently there isn't any break-in period, or at least not much of one. I originally had considered this gun for concealed carry, however, its weight kind of rules it out for that. It's about an ounce heavier than a Beretta 92 FS, so I would rule it out for any kind of carry except for outside the waistband, which, unless you live in an open carry state, is legal, so that's not really an option for civilians. I'll briefly go over what came in the box. First of all, it came in a box that looked like this, inside of which was this case. You get 2 magazines. You get a brush for the barrel and a plastic cleaning rod. It also comes with a manual that's in several languages. Some other useless stuff. And of course the trigger lock, which is over on my dresser. Not the trigger lock, the cable lock, sorry. It's over on my dresser. About the finish that I was talking about earlier, I had originally kind of wished I'd got the dual tone, but upon getting the black and seeing it, I'm really happy I did. It looks really cool. As far as durability goes, I've heard that the nickel finish is a lot more durable than black polycoat. I don't know this, I've only handled the nickel version once, but it was in the shop, so obviously I didn't get to see if it was durable or not. This does not have any ambidextrous controls, just the slide release here and the decocker here. The regular B has a safety so that you can carry it cocked and locked, but I'm not really a fan of that. I'd rather just have double action so that I can pull the trigger and fire without having to worry about a safety. I mean, if I really want it to be in single action, I'll just cock it myself before I shoot. I'd rather have to do that than flip the safety down. I really like the shiny trigger in contrast to the black gun. It looks really cool. It looks kind of shiny in the video, but in person this finish is really deep black, which I like. It also, the BD only comes in the black polycoat. The regular B comes in nickel, the black polycoat, dual tone, which is where the frame is nickel and the slide is the polycoat. And I think they even have stainless steel now. Not sure about that. And you can also get the regular B model in blued. Just for comparison, this is on loan from my brother. This is the gun compared to a CZ75 PCR, or D compact. It has the decocker, and this one actually has the Omega trigger on it. As you can see, the frame is pretty different. It's thicker, and the slide has serrations on the front as well, and it has more of the frame is shaped more like that of the 40 caliber version of this. The 40 caliber version of the CZ75 doesn't narrow down like this as much, and it has the slide rails kind of extend further out. In my opinion, it looks uglier, and I believe the 40 caliber version has a guide rod, which the PCR does, which is actually polymer. And this one does have an alloy frame. As you can see, the frame is a little bit thicker. It sticks out from the slide. I guess we can talk ammo. What I got for this is probably going to be a home defense gun. Probably not going to carry this. I got these rounds. They're Corbon DPX rounds. They're all copper. They're supposed to be highly penetrative. Like they don't stop in flimsy materials. Like they're supposed to go through glass, I think, and they're not supposed to stop when they hit drywall or anything like that. So they aren't supposed to get stopped up in clothing either. And they're supposed to expand pretty well. They're relatively expensive though. For a box of 20 it's about $32. So it's about $1.60 per round. Had a lot more to say about this pistol, but now that I'm actually talking to the camera, I can't seem to recall much of it. But mainly I just wanted to make a video about the CZ75 because there really aren't that many that I've seen on the basic CZ75. I don't, there are a few on the PO1 and models like that that have the accessory rail and are shorter. Anyway, you know, type deal.